right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Right now, the sky is clear and it's cold. Warmer weather does return, along with rain chances. The timing on our next weather maker and what it means for your St. Patrick's Day.
Equal Pay Day. Tonight, we verify the size of the gender pay gap. Our top story, a community mourns. Tonight, a fallen police officer remembered in his hometown.
Couldn't ask for a better one. We will not ask for somebody else that loved law enforcement, loved his community as much as he did.
Tonight, hundreds gathered for a candlelight vigil to remember fallen Herman Police Sergeant Mason Griffith. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush. Ann Allred has the night off. Griffith was killed Sunday night responding to a call at a Casey's gas station. Another officer was critically injured. Tonight's vigil took place about 30 minutes south of Herman in Griffith's hometown of Rosebud. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski was there.
People came from all over Gasconade County to honor Rosebud Chief Mason Griffith. They say everywhere he served with a full heart for his community. Gasconade County Sheriff Scott Eiler says they are mourning the loss of Rosebud Chief Mason Griffith, who also served as a detective sergeant in Herman, where he was shot and killed responding to a call.
He helped people. He loved helping people. He gets involved in anything he can to help the community.
Sheriff Eiler says he helped train Griffith when he started his career in law enforcement.
Guide him through his law enforcement career. Since we became friends, I knew his family. We grew up together from the time he became guest part of the county and just became great friends.
The community overflowed the Red Barn in Rosebud as they lit candles to honor Griffith and pray for Herman officer Adam Solentrup. They shared memories and laid blue roses on a Rosebud police car to say goodbye to the man they all loved so much.
If this kid's playing basketball on the street, he will stop and shoot hoops. He wasn't much of a basketball or sports person, but he will do his best to help the kids, play with the kids. And the interacting these days with the law enforcement and the community is great.
There are several ways to help out both families of Chief Griffith and Officer Solentrup. We have links to all that information on KSDK.com. Reporting in Rosebud, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
Funeral plans have been made for Sergeant Griffith. They will take place Sunday at Owensville High School in Gasconade County. Visitation starts at 9 a.m., runs until the funeral service, which begins at 2. Officer Adam Solentrup, who was also shot Sunday night, remains in critical condition at Mercy Hospital in Creve Coeur. Tonight, the community is doing its part to support both officers' families. Backstoppers, a local nonprofit that helps first responders' families, has already reached out. Executive Director Chief Ron Battelle says the goal is to make them debt-free.
Both officers' families received a $10,000 check each from us to use during these trying times. Whatever the family needs, we'll give it to them.
The city of Herman is asking people to drop off donations for both families at any of the 11 People's Savings Banks across the state. There's also a GoFundMe link set up for Sergeant Griffith's family. And Marquardt's Landing in Washington, Missouri is collecting cash donations. We have more information on all these fundraisers in the As Seen on TV section on our website, ksdk.com. The man accused of killing Sergeant Griffith and injuring Officer Solentrup is now charged in the case. Today, prosecutors charged Kenneth Lee Simpson with first-degree murder, assault, and unlawful possession of a firearm. He's also charged with 2 counts of armed criminal action. Simpson surrendered to police yesterday afternoon after a 16-hour standoff. Breaking tonight, less than 30 minutes ago, we learned St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner has filed her legal response to a court filing that could remove her from office. Gardner was facing a midnight deadline. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey claims she has mishandled cases. 5 on Your Side has learned Gardner has hired St. Louis attorney Michael Downey and Ronald Sullivan Jr., a high-profile Harvard law professor, to represent her. Both helped her in prosecuting former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens and later defended her in court over her handling of that case. We talked with a legal expert about the move.
I think it's smart for Gardner to hire a high-profile attorney, which I think she's done, someone who can take this to the media and turn it into exactly what she says it is, a political witch hunt that is baseless, and to attract some attention, maybe from some national media outlets.
The judge assigned to this case will make a recommendation which could make its way to the Missouri Supreme Court. Live look at St. Charles tonight. Another cold night across the St. Louis region, but tomorrow could be the nicest day of the week. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, interesting. 39 degrees right now, St. Charles and St. Peter's. That's in down there. But at the airport, we're down to 33 at this hour. And for a lot of the outlying areas, under a clear sky and with the wind settling down this evening, we are dropping off pretty quickly. Looking down in Arnold right now, sky remains clear. It just took a long time to get that sky too clear today as the clouds limited our warming during the afternoon. Most of us are down into the lower 30s right now. A lot of us will be in the upper 30s to our upper 20s to right around 30 early tomorrow morning. Not going to see a big drop for the rest of the night as warmer air is trying to push in from the west. Eventually it will, and then the clouds will follow, and then the rain chances will follow after that. It's going to be kind of a wild ride here as we get some pretty good swings weather-wise. We are warmer tomorrow. The breeze picks up and becomes a bit gusty later in the day. Clouds then thicken Wednesday night. That's going to lead us into showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder on Thursday. And boy, does the bottom drop out as temperatures plummet on Friday. We're talking about the big cool down for the weekend and your St. Patrick's Day forecast in just a few minutes, Mike.
All right, Scott. New tonight, Ferguson has a new chief of police, and he's a familiar face. Tonight's announcement comes just weeks after previous chief Frank McCall parted ways with the city. Our Brent Sullivan is live in Ferguson tonight, the only reporter speaking with the new chief. Brent.
Mike, come April 1st, Lieutenant Troy Doyle, a current commander at the St. Louis County Police Department, will soon head the Ferguson Police Department. And tonight, he told the officers that he will soon lead, quote, "We have much work to do."
My whole career, I kind of been like known as a fixer, so to speak.
Only 5 on your side was there as Ferguson learned there's a new chief coming in. Lieutenant Troy Doyle comes from St. Louis County.
It was time. It was time for me to move on.
Doyle might be a familiar face. Nearly 3 years ago, he filed suit against the county, claiming Executive Sam Page bypassed him for police chief because of his race, choosing his colleague of lower rank, Mary Barton, instead. In that suit, Doyle claims Page ran into campaign contribution problems. When word got out, he was the front runner. After choosing Barton, the lawsuit claims donations started pouring in.
Any animosity towards the county?
No, not at all. You know, I had a great 31 years with the St. Louis County Police Department. I know I reached a point where I think progress was kind of stopped.
Now, his goal of becoming a police chief has become reality. He has his work cut out for him. The Ferguson Police Department is working to comply with improvement recommendations from the federal government following the fatal shooting of Mike Brown.
Although some people look at the consent decree as a negative, actually can be a positive because what it does is kind of help and set guidelines for the police department to help us police in a manner that's fair and equitable.
The department also working to get its accreditation restored. To get it all done, Doyle plans to have an open door policy.
Address your concerns, take your suggestions and ideas so we can work hand in hand to make Ferguson a secure and inviting place to live, work, and play.
His lawsuit against the county heads to trial next year, but he's keeping quiet on that.
No, I'll let you talk to my attorney.
And tonight, one Ferguson resident told City Council he's disappointed that the community didn't get to meet the chief before the city made the hire. That aside, that same resident told the crowd and City Council that based on Doyle's resume, they may have made a, quote, wise choice. Mike.
Brent, thanks. Well, new tonight, the owner of the Cardinals and Blues TV outlet has officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Diamond Sports Group, which owns Bally Sports Midwest and more than a dozen other regional sports networks, says it plans to continue to broadcast local games as it restructures more than $8 billion in debt. If Diamond fails to pay its rights fees, teams would be free to break their contracts. Major League Baseball is reportedly ready to stream games for teams that lose their broadcast deals. Well, today is Equal Pay Day. It recognizes the disparity in the salaries women earn versus men. Tonight, our Verify team breaks down the math of the gender pay gap. Here's Untitled.
Equal Pay Day marks the day women have worked enough to catch up to what men made the prior year. A tweet with more than 188,000 views says this year, Equal Pay Day falls on March 14th, and that women are paid 84 cents for every dollar that a man makes. But is that true? Let's verify using these sources. The most recent U.S. Census data compares women's and men's median earnings in 2021. That data shows $51,226 is the median income for women in 2021, compared to $61,180 for men. We crunched the numbers, and that means women make about 84 cents for every dollar, which makes this part of the claim true. So how'd they get March 14th? Men make roughly 1.2 times more than women. With 365 days in a year, women would have to work 438 days to make that same amount of money. That's 73 extra days. Counting from January 1st, 2022, that means March 14th, 2023 is Equal Pay Day, just one day earlier than the previous year, which isn't enough progress, according to Jessica Kriegel, Chief Scientist of Workplace Culture at Culture Partners.
Equalizing pay for men and women is taking a lot longer than it should.
Pew Research Center says the gender pay gap has barely closed in the past 2 decades, since it's still about the same as it was in 2002 when women earned 80 cents to the dollar. With your Verify, I'm Untitled.
What would you like us to verify? Send an email to verify@ksdk.com. Pollution. It's not just a problem outdoors. Tonight, the best products to clear the air inside your home. I'm from the Loop and I'm proud. He's one of the biggest cheerleaders of the 314. Tonight, Nellie's plans for a community competition inspired by a very St. Louis question.
Wicked wild weather in the northeast U.S. with snow and wind, and out along the Pacific coast right now, we're tracking this west coast system and the impacts it brings us as we head towards this upcoming weekend.
Some promising news on inflation tonight. Prices are coming down, but slowly. Inflation in February was 6% higher than a year ago. That's down from a peak of more than 9% last June, but still much higher than the government's target of 2%. Tonight, sources say both the Justice Department and the Securities and Exchange Commission have opened investigations into what led to the failure of the Silicon Valley Bank. It comes after the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation took over and closed the tech startup lender to protect deposits. SVB was the first bank to collapse over the weekend. Then state regulators in New York closed Signature Bank, a cryptocurrency leader.
Is there something wrong with the supervision system? Is there something more broadly broken inside the broader banking system that needs to be looked at?
Despite the volatility, economists stress the U.S. banking system is strong and there is not a looming financial crisis. Well, believe it or not, the air quality inside your home can be worse than the air you breathe outside. It's especially true when it's colder outside and we keep our windows and doors shut. As Consumer Reports explains, there are some simple steps you can take to improve the indoor air you breathe. While newer, more tightly sealed home construction improves energy efficiency, Consumer Reports says it's also partly to blame for indoor pollutants. Where are they coming from? Gas stoves, for one. Tests by Consumer Reports confirm they're a possible source of toxicity and are a cause for concern. So what can you do?
Think ventilation. Use your range hood every time you cook and open windows to get the fresh, clean air from the outside in.
Other pollutants? VOCs are volatile organic compounds emitted from cleaning agents, pesticides, aerosols, even couches and carpets. Irritants to your throat, nose, and eyes, and some may even cause cancer. The solution?
Whenever possible, avoid using harsh chemicals to clean your home. If you can't, again, think of ventilation. Open windows and doors.
And buy mattresses and furnishings that use natural fibers like cotton. Keep your home dust-free. Use a vacuum with a HEPA filter to trap contaminants and clean or change the filters in your air conditioner. Air purifiers can also help. Allen, Winix, Blue Air models, they earn top marks in Consumer Reports tests and will run between $275 and $741. You'll likely smell our next pollutant, mold. Often caused by humidity, it can cause rashes, flu-like symptoms, eye and lung irritation. Consider a dehumidifier. Consumer Reports highly rates Honeywell, Midea, and Home Labs and will run between $200 and $320. If your mold stems from a recent weather disaster, you might be eligible for federal assistance. Check out this website for details. And that odorless, colorless, sometimes fatal gas, carbon monoxide, install a detector on every level of your home and outside each sleep area. Consumer Reports also recommends checking for radon, a radioactive gas that can seep into your home from water and soil. If your house was built before 1980, check for asbestos and lead. Tonight, 314 Day is coming to a close. It's a day to celebrate all things St. Louis. And right now, rapper Murphy Lee and the St. Lunatics are performing at Ballpark Village for the 314 Day finale. Now, earlier today, fellow St. Louis rapper Nelly made a big announcement at Harris-Stowe State University. He's teaming up with the 314 Foundation for an Olympic-style tournament called the High School Alumni Games. It will include social, athletic, and STEM competitions for cash prizes. And Nelly says he was inspired by that very St. Louis question, where did you go to high school?
My whole thought process was, how do we use that to kind of galvanize the city and come together to do something that we all can be proud of, all take part in, and not only that, also celebrate education.
Every local high school has a chance to participate, but it's only for people who've celebrated at least their 10th class reunion. During today's announcement, the 314 Day Foundation also donated a $31,400 scholarship to Harris-Stowe. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us now with the Weather First forecast. And I guess, Scott, tomorrow is going to be the pick day of the week.
Tomorrow is going to be the pick day of the week. Not only is it warmer, but the winds really don't pick up until later in the day when it actually gets a little bit warmer. And skies, well, they're clear right now around St. Louis, outside of a couple of stray high-thin clouds. And we expect to see that continue tomorrow morning. So we'll start with brighter skies. Sure, it'll be cold out the door. Already down to 28 right now in Warrenton, 29 in Chesterfield, 28 in DeSoto, 30 at Scott Air Force Base, Alton, and St. Charles at Smart Field. So outlying areas, 25 degrees, 28 degrees. In town, right around 30. The winds are a lot lighter. We start with the sunshine tomorrow. We start with the chilly conditions. But before lunchtime, we're above 40 degrees tomorrow. And then clouds start to roll in later in the day, but the rain chances not here tomorrow. Those rain chances are waiting until this moisture from the west makes its way towards us. You may have heard about this atmospheric river, and there's been a lot of talk about that this year because yet again, you see all this high-level moisture in the clouds streaming across the Pacific. All of that moisture helping to feed the storms that continue to move in. And this time it's focused on southern portions of California and flooding potential along with some high winds and then mountain snows as we go through the rest of the night tonight into tomorrow. This effectively is our next weather system as it all nudges to the east. Yes, it's producing rain, but a little too much too fast for a lot of folks out there. And a lot of that moisture gets squeezed out, and the Gulf only gets some of that back into this system as we head into Thursday. Scattered showers will break out Thursday morning and continue into the afternoon. We may have a couple of rumbles of thunder, especially going farther south of St. Louis, but as we head through the evening rush hour, scattered showers, potentially a rumble of thunder, cold fronts making its way in from the west, and this one's going to have some chilly air behind it. So as it slides through overnight Friday night, what lingers behind the front in terms of what's falling from the sky probably changes over to snow. Maybe for a half hour, maybe for an hour. The ground's too warm, air temperatures above freezing. It's not going to stick, but it does leave us with a very cold Friday. Wind chills Friday morning in the teens to lower 20s. They really don't go up much through the day. That northwest wind stays gusty. It feels like it's in the 20s all day long. Big weekend, too. If you're tailgating on Saturday for the Battlehawks, temperatures never get out of the 30s. Partly cloudy to at times mostly sunny skies. Still a little bit brisk and breezy. And then you've got City SC taking the pitch. That's at 7:30 on Saturday evening. By that point, the sun is setting. The winds are starting to die just a little bit, but it's still cold, and it'll stay chilly Sunday into Monday, and then we start to warm up for the middle of next week with a chance for a few showers. So Quite the weather ride here over the next few days.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is next with sports.
So, Mike, we have twin sisters going at it on the softball field today. We have Umsel and McKendry playing each other in the Sweet 16, and a certain Cardinal is hitting up a storm in Florida.
The Sports Desk is brought to you by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer, 10 years running.
Tonight, the NCAA tourney opened with the first four in Dayton, and Southeast Missouri State with a couple of St. Louis players. Philip Russell and Dylan Branson were a part of it. SEMO got beat by Texas A&M Corpus Christi 75-71. The NCAA won't let us show you highlights of the game until after we're off the air. Nonetheless, congrats to SEMO on a special season. Now to Indianapolis, Bob Sunville and Umsel facing McKendry and George Suggs in the D2 Midwest Regional Final. McKendry trailed by 18 in the second half, but Milos Vacentric is really an elegant player. Spin move, left hand. They eventually tied the game. But the Tritons' Isaiah Fuller, who had 27, will make the biggest bucket of the game right there. McKendry could not convert at the buzzer. Umsel wins it 62-60, and they move on to the Elite Eight. Cardinal Nation breathed a sigh of relief. Jordan Walker was back in the lineup for today's game with the Astros. He suffered a shoulder strain in Saturday's game, but only sat out on Sunday. He went 1 for 4 against Houston today, and he's now batting .405. A beautiful day for autographs in lovely Palm Beach. Nolan Gorman is in the middle of a great spring. This base knock will bring in 2. This young man has to play. He will add another one later, driving in Wilson Contreras. Gorman's OPS up to .894. Cardinals and Astros tie 3-3. I talked to Cardinals broadcaster Mike Claiborne a few hours ago, and he says the battle is in the bullpen.
You have about 13 guys who are vying for 8 spots in the bullpen. It's going to be very challenging. They're going to have to be very creative here. They may even go to a 6-man rotation. That's been some discussion to allow themselves to have another extra reliever in the mix. But right now, it's going to come down to the wire.
The Blues hit the ice today after they took their team photo. Robert Bortuzzo flashing the moves in the drill. The mood is lighter now with the trading deadline over, and another good sign was Jake Neighbors skating again. He's been out for almost a month with an upper body injury, but could be back soon.
Yeah, I actually did some contact stuff today and things like that, so he's looking pretty good. He's shooting a puck pretty good now, so that's a good sign.
Is that kind of the last hurdle, I guess, just the contact aspect?
Pretty much, yep. When he's ready to take full contact and perform, he'll be ready to go.
They are sisters, twin sisters. They were born 30 seconds apart. Today, Kayla Kowalik on the left and Gabby Kowalik squared off against each other on the softball field. There they were at St. Louis University bringing out the lineup cards. Gabby plays outfield for SLU. Kayla is the catcher for the Kentucky Wildcats. They are softball lifers, and they were having fun during the at-bats. Gabby had a good day at the plate with 2 hits and on base 4 times for St. Louis University. She has a chance to be the Conference Player of the Year. Kayla also had 2 hits. Kentucky won it 6-3. Gabby told me before the game that she wasn't too concerned that her sister knew her hitting tendencies too well.
What's going for me, I've had 5 years to develop, but she hasn't really seen me, so, might have a trick up my sleeve too, but, yeah, she probably does know me a little bit better than anybody, so it'll be a fun little challenge.
Do you have a game plan on how to get your sister out?
So my #1 goal is at least 1 strikeout, but I'm actually kind of rooting for her getting on base so I could throw her out if she steals.
Aren't you cutthroat?
Absolutely.
That's a lot of talent in one family, Mike.
Indeed. Frank, thanks. Money Madness, the factors driving record betting on this year's NCAA tournament. A lot of money is being wagered on March Madness. The American Gaming Association predicts around 68 million Americans will bet a record $15.5 billion on this year's NCAA tournament. The increase in wagers is attributed to the return of office pools and more states like Illinois legalizing online sports betting. If you're looking for a designated driver for St. Patrick's Day, you're in luck. Quiet Man Whiskey is offering free Uber rides up to $15. And Breakthrough Beverage and Jameson Irish Whiskey, they're offering free Lyft rides up to $30. If you want more information, just go to the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. And Friday is St. Patrick's Day, and 5 on Your Side will be in Dogtown for the Ancient Order of Hibernians Parade. You can look for our 5+ live bus and storm tracker. And if you can't make it down, we're going to stream the parade live on 5+. It's free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. And there you have it. 5 on Your Side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. Bryan Cranston is Jimmy's guest. We'll see you tomorrow.